So we've already seen some options for formatting or changing data types within the query editor. We've formatted columns as dates, as whole numbers, as currency and decimals, but there are some additional options that we'll find outside of the query editor in the data view, specifically the modeling tab, that will help us not only define more specific data formats, like specific date or currency types, but also categories. And many of these categories that you see here are geographical in nature. They capture things like addresses, cities, latitudes, longitudes, etc. The purpose here is that categorizing your data in this way, especially geospatial data, helps Power BI accurately map and visualize those location-based fields, those things like addresses, countries, continents, zip codes, etc. So let's head back to our AdventureWorks report, and I'm going to show you a couple examples of how we can do this. All right, this is one that you're going to need to follow along closely with because we're going to be modifying some of our data formats and adding a new table or a new connection to our file. So first and foremost, let's head to our data view, which we haven't really spent much time here yet. And within this view, you can see previews of your tables. Here are my 4 tables on the right side of the screen. You can drill into different individual fields as well. Now, looking at the calendar table, you'll note that the dates have defaulted to this long form format. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's still correct. I would just prefer a shorter, more concise format. So when I select the column, these formatting options within my modeling tab now become available. So the data type is set to a date, which was established within the query editor, but now I have more specific formatting options. So under the date time menu, I actually like this first option, month, day, year. This is kind of the classic standard English US format. So I'll just click that and it will refresh and basically overwrite that long form and format it in that new kind of shorter form date format. I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing to my start of week column as well, start of month, and start of year. So that just kind of cleaned things up a little bit. I also have a date field in my sales table. In fact, I have 2 date fields, the order date and the stock date. So let's go ahead and just select each one of these and format in that same short form date. And now one other adjustment with the data that we already have. If we jump into our product lookup table and scroll to the right, remember we hadn't really been able to format those currencies exactly how we wanted to in the query editor. So same idea here. We've got the data type, decimal number. We can actually format as a specific type of currency. So many more options here than we had within the query editor itself. So I'm going to choose the dollar sign in English format. And there you go. Repeat the process for product price and then for discount price as well. There we go. Now these are nice and clean, properly formatted US currency fields. Now, last item I want to address here is this data category field. And this is what I showed you in that slide with those geospatial fields. You've got other kind of categorizations like web URL, even barcodes and image URLs. So to show you how that works, I actually want to connect to a new table. So you can go to Home, Get Data, Text CSV. And this time the field that I want, the table that I want, is AdventureWorks Territories. So double click, fire up the preview pane, default looks good, edit it in the query editor. And as you can see, pretty simple table here, only about 10 rows. We've got sales territory keys, and each key is associated with a given region, country, and continent. So this is going to help us understand for those sales in our AW sales data, where are they coming from? What countries, what regions, which continents are driving the most sales? And help us kind of answer questions like that. So first things first, you know the drill. Let's change this table name to AW_territories. And you guessed it, this is a lookup table. So AW territories lookup, press enter. We've got proper headers. Our key is a whole number. Everything else is text, so that looks good. Go ahead and close and apply. And now as you can see, we've got this new table that's popped up here at the bottom of our field list in the data view. And just to save space, I'm going to collapse these other tables and drill into that territory lookup. And there you go. That looks nice and familiar. So last step here, we will want to visualize some of this data using the map tools and visualizations, which are really, really handy in the report view. So to make sure that Power BI is visualizing things properly, let's go ahead and use those categorization options in the modeling tab. So we'll start with country, select the column, and under the data category dropdown, be careful you don't click county because that's different from country. I've made that mistake before. You want country/region. And then for continent, you've got a continent option as well. And because these regions are kind of custom defined, Northwest, Germany, UK, they don't really follow a standardized mapping syntax. We're okay with just categorizing country and continent for now. And important note here, Power BI will almost always recognize these fields properly by default automatically. So had we not gone through this step and just plugged these countries into a map visual, 99.9% of the time it's going to work exactly as you'd expect and you get accurate results. But as a best practice, it really couldn't hurt to explicitly define what types of data categories you're working with. And last thing to note here, see these little icons to the left of the fields. You'll see a bunch of different types, and we'll talk about what these mean. But the two little globe icons indicate that these have been categorized as geographical fields. So a nice little helpful visual cue there. So let's return to our relationships view. See that territories table object pop up. Now we've got 5 connections here in our report. Let's go ahead and give it a save and keep cruising ahead.